What is up and welcome back. We are your Emerald Coast relocation team. And if you're interested in Pensacola, let's say looking at it for the first time, or say you've been watching this channel for a little bit while and you already really know all the things that we talk about in regards to Pensacola, this video we're going to be going back and covering everything about Pensacola, Florida, some of those main facts that you might really want to know. So like I said, if this is the first time that you really looked into it, this could be great information. But if this is something that you've already seen from us before, you might want to watch because we're going to have some new stuff in here in regards to like your cost of living, in regards to the cost of housing, certain things like that that you might want to know in regards to Pensacola, Florida. So let's cover the easiest one. The easiest one to talk about is the location. Where is Pensacola, Florida? Pensacola is actually the westernmost city in Florida, up in the Panhandle. And then you've got it surrounded on the west and north side by Alabama. It is literally the most western point you can get in Florida. Outside of that though, you might be thinking, how close is Pensacola compared to a few of the other larger cities within Florida? Because a lot of times you look at Florida and I'm like, oh, you know, it's not that far away. You know, they're all in the same state. That cannot be further from the truth. So let's go ahead and cover like kind of where Pensacola is, the drive times to a few of these other cities. Let's go the furthest away, talking about Miami. How far of a drive is it from Pensacola down into Miami? You're looking at about a 9.5 hour drive. Quick note on this is these drives are straight through. So if you're having to stop for gas, if you're having to stop for potty breaks, expect to tag on a couple hours on top of these drive times. If you want to go down to Tampa, Tampa is actually an area that we travel to often because we do have a rental property down there to go down there to check it out, do any maintenance, stuff like that. It says about a 6.5 hour drive. I will tell you, it usually takes us probably about 8 hours when we drive down there just because we have to stop for those potty breaks. You know, the kids, it seems like every single hour they have to stop and take that potty break. What's happening?
We have a number 2 situation.
Oh. Everything okay back there? Oops, sorry, Gwen, my bad.
I'd say, you know, it takes us probably about 7 to 8 hours, depending on how many potty breaks we take, how many times we have to fill up gas, whether we hit any traffic, stuff like that. So if you want to go down into Orlando, this is saying it's going to be about a 7-hour drive. And then if we want to go straight east over into Jacksonville, you're looking at about a 5-hour drive. The second thing that I did want to cover is the area vibe score. This area vibe site has been something that we've been using quite a bit recently. We just really like how it compiles a bunch of this information onto one website, and we could go there to really reference it oftentimes when we are talking about a few of these cities in the Emerald Coast. So then area vibes, the livability score is an 83 out of 100. Now, what are the different subjects that go into this livability score in order to give it that rating? So there's a few topics. The first one's amenities, and they grade it an A. The second is a commute, and they grade it an A+. The third one is cost of living, and they grade it an A+. The fourth is crime, and crime they graded a C. Next one is employment, and they grade that one a C. Housing though, they graded an A+. Health, they graded an A+, and then final, schools, they grade a C+. When we are talking about Pensacola, the city of Pensacola, it is in Escambia County, so that is going to be the county the majority of your schools are going to be in. Right next to it is Santa Rosa County, where we have seen a lot of people who like to take advantage over in Santa Rosa County as well. The third thing that we're going to be covering is the cost of living. We've got to know that cost of living, and when we do the cost of living, what we like to do is pretty much compare it to your national average. And we do this by using a cost of living index where 100 is your national average. If it's above it, it's more expensive, and if it's below it, it's cheaper than your national average. I've done that so many times. I wonder, for those of you who watch us often, it's like, oh, here we go, Pete's doing the above and below and all those things. So cost of living. Overall, if we take all these categories into one in that overall number, cost of living, you're looking at an 89 out of 100. So that is below the national average in regards to your overall cost of living. When we are talking about groceries is at a 96.6. So that's almost 4 points lower than your national, what is that, 3.4 points lower than your national average in regards to groceries. Another quick note on this is, like I said, this is going to be talking about the city of Pensacola. When you do go across a bridge out to these other areas where you're talking about Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton Beach, all these areas, the groceries are going to be a little bit more expensive. Not sure if it's just because they have to drive that much further to get out to the grocery stores or not. Not really sure why, but we have noticed that the groceries, when you are crossing over that 3-mile bridge from Pensacola, do get a little bit more expensive. The next cost of living index we're going to be covering is health. Health comes in at a 98.1. This one also also is below your national average by almost 2 points. The next one is going to be housing. Now, when we talk about this housing cost of living index number, this includes purchasing a house and then also renting a house within Pensacola. And that number comes in well below the national average at 63. So it's awesome to see that housing is much more affordable in the city of Pensacola. The next one we're going to be doing is utilities. Utilities is something that we have noticed is a little bit pricier here as compared to like where we used to live. It comes in at a 105.3. So that is 5.3% higher than your national average. The next one we're going to be doing is transportation. Transportation is pretty much the cost to insure your vehicle, that vehicle maintenance, all those public transportation, stuff like that. That number is coming in at an 89.8, so that is also below your national average. Then the last category is going to be your miscellaneous. What is your miscellaneous? It's pretty much the cost to go shopping at all your boutiques, to go out to restaurants, stuff like that. Miscellaneous comes in at a 97, so that one is also below your national average. Looking at these, we could see why the overall number is well below your national average. The biggest driving factor is going to be that housing number. As we always mention though, when we do talk about Pensacola, is when you decide to cross that bridge, the housing prices on a majority of these costs will be a little bit more expensive. The best segue from that is going to be the cost to purchase real estate, your median sales price within Pensacola. Before I break into those numbers, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, make sure you give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below it there, we always answer. It doesn't matter day or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. All right. Let's get on to the median sales prices of these houses. So first number we like to do is your overall median sales price. This is going to be putting in your single family and your attached products into one number. That number comes in at $278,000, and that number is actually down 6.94%. Quick note. These numbers are based off of August of 2024. I'm not sure. We already broke into October, that we haven't gotten September numbers yet. I'm sure we'll be getting them here soon, but these are as of August. And so the year over year number, that is why it's down 6.94%. Then we break into that single family housing number. That number comes in at $275,000. And that one is actually down 7.62% year over year. This is rare, and this is something that we've often seen when discussing Pensacola. As you look at it and you're like, wait, why is that overall number more expensive than the single family? Because usually that's flipped, where your single family is going to be more than the overall, because you have your attached products, your condos, townhouses, and row homes that bring that overall number down a little bit. Well, if we break into those attached numbers though, that median sales price is going to be $355,000. That number is also down. It's down 11.8% year over year. The reason for this is Perdido Key. Perdido Key, you have a bunch of great attached luxury products out at Perdido Key that are up in like the $1 million price points. That is what's bringing this attached number up, and that is why that number is up so much more than your single family properties. Another thing I wanted to touch on is, you might be thinking, okay, so why are all these numbers down right now? I think that everyone in August was preparing for interest rates, and that's why not too many people are purchasing. What does that have to do with your median sales prices? When you have more people competing against each other in order to purchase a house, a lot of times you might get bidding wars, or you might get more product out that people are really trying to buy, and that's what we see. Is usually that's what will drive that median sales price up. But I think that people are anticipating September. We heard the rate cuts that happened in September with the Fed, even though that does not directly correlate with your mortgage interest rates. They do tend to trend with each other. And now that we are just breaking into October, I can tell you that the market is picking up a little more since it had been back in like August and September timeframe. The fifth thing that I wanted to cover in regards to Pensacola is, what are the closest beaches, right? Say if you want to live in downtown Pensacola or in that Pensacola area, what is the closest beach that you're going to be going to? Obviously, Pensacola Beach. Pensacola Beach is going to be separated from Pensacola. A lot of people look at the two thinking they're the same thing. They are not. Pensacola Beach will be your closest beach, looking at about a 16-minute drive from the heart of Pensacola downtown, going over to Pensacola Beach. The next closest beach is going to be Perdido Key. Perdido Key, it's pretty much just straight west, a little bit west, and then you go south a little bit on the other side of that naval base, and you're looking at about a 40-minute drive from downtown Pensacola over to Perdido Key. The next closest beach is going to be Navarre Beach. Navarre Beach, you're looking at about a 44-minute drive. Navarre Beach is much more secluded as compared to Pensacola Beach. There's not as many tourists that go there. There are still tourists that go there. It just doesn't get quite the traction that Pensacola Beach has. And then obviously the king of the beaches here in the area, we're talking about Destin. How long would it take for you to drive from Pensacola all the way down to Destin going straight east? You're looking at about an hour and 22 minutes. Let's just call it an hour and a half, right? So it'll take you about an hour and a half to get from downtown Pensacola, go over and take advantage of those beaches at Destin. The sixth and final thing that I did want to cover is we're going to be talking a little bit about weather. I'm going to be doing this off the cuff a little bit. I'm really not bringing any stats, any numbers, just talking to you about our personal experiences, what we see here. The biggest difference that we have noticed here, because we do have a property that's in Central Florida, is it is not as humid here, guys. And when we go down even to Clearwater to visit that property, we notice how much more humid it is down there as compared to up here. Another thing about Pensacola is that we actually get the 3 seasons here, where it seems like Central and Southern Florida, you get summer and then you got mild summer. Those are the only 2 seasons that you really get down there. Here you really do have your summertime, and then you do have a fall, and you do have a spring. We do have those drop in temperatures, and that's something that we really did enjoy about being here. Coming from a state that had a true 4 seasons, where you were getting that snow, and then you're also getting that sun in the summertime, and then coming here, we still want that fluctuation of the temperatures. And so, like, let's just talk about last winter. Last winter, I think the lowest we saw was like 29, and that was super, super rare. It is really rare for you to have more than probably like 1 time over the duration of winter in Pensacola for it to drop below freezing. But there are times, depending on how severe that winter is that year, that it does drop below freezing, but it's only just a handful of days, a couple times. Outside of that, expect just like 50s and 60s in the wintertime for the most part. And then, you know, the spring and the fall. So like my favorite month, personally, I'd say it's probably like April and October. And we just broke into October. October is when you really do start to feel that fall time. You know, everyone's getting out. There's their pumpkin spice latte. It's like, oh, it's fall time. And even though we don't have those super beautiful fall colors like a lot of these Midwest states and like even the eastern states do have, I mean, it definitely does feel like fall around here. And then April, we just get some gorgeous, beautiful high 70s, low 80s weather right before we break into the summertime. Another thing I wanted to mention too is rain. Is everyone talks about, is there really a raining season? Not really. I mean, we get spurts where we do have like a week full of rain where it's just on and off and on and off. Outside of that, you really can't pinpoint that to one type of the year where this is what rainy season is going to be. And so for instance, in September, I think we literally had like a week to a week and a half of just cloudy, rainy days, and then it was gone. Whereas like the year before, I believe that was earlier on in the summer where we had something like that. So just, you can't really pinpoint the time when we actually do have a rainy season here. All right, cool guys. I pretty much covered all the basics, all the main things that you might want to know if you are looking into Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much for watching. If you are looking at purchasing real estate here, we are your top relocation team, helping you out with all your real estate needs. Give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below it there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. But if you're not quite ready to purchase, do yourself a favor and follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Notification bell, that way you're notified every single time we put a brand new video. Till next time, we love you. Bye.